Daily Words of God.
Some people do not rejoice in the truth, much less judgment. Rather, they rejoice in power and riches. Such people are deemed to be snobs. They exclusively seek out those sects in the world with influence, and those pastors and teachers coming from seminaries. Despite having accepted the way of truth, they remain skeptical and are unable to devote themselves fully. They speak of sacrificing for God, but their eyes are focused on the great pastors and teachers, and Christ is brushed aside. Their hearts are filled with fame, fortune, and glory. They do not believe at all that such a meager man is capable of conquering so many, that one so unremarkable is capable of perfecting people. They do not believe at all that these nobodies among the dust and dunghills are the people chosen by God. They believe that if such people were the objects of God's salvation, then heaven and earth would be turned upside down, and all men would laugh their heads off. They believe that if God chose such nobodies to be perfected, then those great men would become God Himself. Their perspectives are tainted with unbelief. Indeed, far from unbelief, they are preposterous beasts. For they only value position, prestige, and power. What they hold in high regard are large groups and sects. They have no regard at all for those led by Christ. They are simply traitors who have turned their backs on Christ, on truth, and on life. What you admire is not the humility of Christ, but those false shepherds of prominent standing. You do not love the loveliness or wisdom of Christ, but those wantons who associate with the vile world. You laugh at the pain of Christ, who has no place to lay his head, but admire those corpses that seize offerings and live in debauchery. You are not willing to suffer alongside Christ, but gladly go into the arms of those reckless antichrists, though they supply to you only flesh, only letters, and only control. Even now, your heart still turns toward them, their reputation, their standing in the hearts of all the Satans, their influence, and their authority. Yet you continue to have an attitude of resistance and refusal to accept the work of Christ. This is why I say that you do not have the faith of acknowledging Christ. The reason you have followed him to this day is entirely because you were forced. In your heart forever tower many lofty images. You cannot forget their every word and deed, nor their influential words and hands. They are in your heart forever supreme and forever heroes. But this is not so for the Christ of today. He is forever insignificant in your heart and forever undeserving of reverence. For he is far too ordinary, has far too little influence, and is far from lofty. In any case, I say that all those who do not esteem the truth are all unbelievers and traitors of the truth. Such men shall never receive the approval of Christ. Have you now identified how much unbelief is within you? And how much betrayal of Christ? I exhort you thusly, since you have chosen the way of truth, then you should devote yourself wholeheartedly. Do not be ambivalent or half-hearted. You should understand that God does not belong to the world or any one person, but to all those who truly believe in Him, all those who worship Him, and all those who are devoted and faithful to Him.